Welcome everyone to our Keto Lifestyle Google Hangout. We are thrilled to be with you this evening. My name is Robin Blank Mascari. I'm in Bozeman, Montana, and joining me this evening I have Lester Carter on our right, and in the middle we have Laura Stout, and then we have Dustin Schaefer. And Dustin is our keto expert. He comes to us with over 15 years experience with this lifestyle. We're here this evening to learn about how this lifestyle may be a benefit for you. We have something for everyone that wants to make their life better. So we want to get started with a short video. Over to you, Dustin.
Steve Newport's Alzheimer's disease has slowed considerably. Some of his symptoms even reversed, thanks to an unlikely treatment prescribed by his wife, Dr. Mary Newport, a physician who runs a neonatology ward at a Tampa, Florida hospital. She became determined to help her husband after he failed the so-called Alzheimer's clock test.
He drew a few little circles and several numbers just in a very random pattern, didn't really look anything like a clock. And the doctor pulled me aside and she said, you know, he's actually on the verge of severe Alzheimer's at this point. He's beyond moderate. So that was very, very devastating news.
Dr. Newport began learning everything she could about her husband's disease.
It appears to be a type of diabetes of the brain, and it's a process that starts happening at least 10 or 20 years before you start having symptoms. And it's very similar to type 1 or type 2 diabetes in that you develop a problem with insulin.
In this case, insulin problems prevent brain cells from accepting glucose, their primary fuel. Without it, the cells eventually die. But there is an alternative fuel, ketones, which the cells easily accept. Ketones are metabolized in the liver after you eat medium-chain triglycerides, which are found in coconut oil. So Dr. Newport added coconut oil to Steve's diet. Just 2 weeks later, he took the clock test again, and as you can see, demonstrated stunning improvement.
I thought at the time, was it just good luck? Was it a lot of prayer? Was it the coconut oil? And I thought, well, we're going to keep the coconut oil going.
Then 3 weeks later, he took the clock test a third time and continued to get better. And it wasn't just intellectually, he also improved emotionally and physically.
He was not able to run, he was able to run again. He couldn't read for about a year and a half. But after somewhere around 2 or 3 months, he was able to read, still being very sluggish. Very much in the morning, he would come out, you know, with energy and talkative and joking, and he could find his water and his utensils.
Dr. Newport documented Steve's success in a book called Alzheimer's Disease, What If There Was a Cure? She received this stack of thank you letters from other people whose loved ones' Alzheimer's was helped after they followed Steve's diet. And while coconut oil is encouraging, there's actually something much more powerful. A team of biochemists led by Professor Kieran Clark at England's Oxford University have developed a ketone ester that packs a punch 10 times greater than coconut oil.
It reaches quite considerably higher levels, and you can get whatever levels you want depending on how much you drink.
The problem is they need millions of dollars to mass produce it.
Very expensive. And so we can't make very much of it ourselves. And what we would like is funding so that we could actually scale up and make it. But of course, there's no real profit in manufacturing stuff like that.
So until a high-potency ketone ester is available to the general public, coconut oil is still a good ketone source. So not only does coconut oil improve your cholesterol levels, Dr. Keeter says the way it helps the brains of some Alzheimer's patients can be extended to people with Parkinson's disease, ALS, epilepsy, dementia, even schizophrenia and autism. Steve
Gotta find a way to end this. That wasn't it. There it is. I'm back. You guys all see me?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So that's really neat. I'm Dustin Schaefer. I'm thank you so much for having me on, and I welcome all of you that are interested in ketones and Keto OS and how we can ultimately enhance and improve our bodies. I play that video often before I do any events. Primarily, that's the one I go to because it truly illustrates why we're here and what we can do to help so many people. And there's really not a lot that we even have to say once we understand ketones and Keto OS and what this product can do, because they just said it in that video. There is people out there struggling with, if you didn't hear that, 15 to 20 years when your memory starts to go. It's early onsets of this condition. But coconut oil can give you a ketone body from the medium chain triglycerides, which they talked about, and that has way more benefits. They listed some at the end, and we're going to talk about more of those today, and we're going to hear from a couple people that have experienced, every one of us on this panel have experienced the benefits of ketones in some form or fashion. So thank you all for jumping on. I truly appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to really digging into more about what these ketones are and how we can get them and why they're important. So Robin, I'd like to dive in and really show this audience the benefits and what we can do to help them.
Okay, great, Dustin. And I know this word ketones and ketosis and ketogenic lifestyle may be new for many of you. So why don't we start out, Dustin, with a little bit of foundation and education with this word that may be new. For some of you, you've embraced it wholeheartedly, and we're thrilled about that and know what biohacking and all that is. But for others that are stepping into this new world, if you could share a little bit, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So what happens how do you get your body into ketosis, and where did this word come from? Ketosis is a natural state the human body will go through when you either are in starvation or if you do a very low carbohydrate diet or a deprivation diet. If somebody's heard of Atkins or has done Atkins before, it's one of the most common ketogenic type diets. Basically, you deprive and deplete your body of carbohydrates, of glucose, and it runs out, and then your body will turn on its ability to metabolize your fat in the liver and produce a ketone body or multiple ketone bodies. And that is what ketosis is. Now, if you've ever watched Survivor or a show like that where you're out on an island and there's no food available, if you notice, they don't die, but yet they get lean and fit. And the reason why is because their bodies ran out of glucose, and their body has to use their own fat for fuel, and it allows their body to function while they're lacking that food. So why are ketones so beneficial is because we've been in this state of ketosis most of our existence as humans. You know, prior to the last 150 years, even 100 years, we didn't have food as plentiful as we do today, especially the carbs and sugars, and there's not a Jack in the Box and a McDonald's and a Dairy Queen, and I don't even know that many junk food places anymore because they're like another world for me, but that stuff wasn't available. Even go back as far as World War II, and you look at the military guys going in the military, they were lean, mean, fit going in the military. And nowadays, our kids coming in, and they have to work hard to get lean and fit. They didn't come in lean and fit. And that's because of this abundance of food and lack of activity in our society. And ketones are a nice, clean energy source. If you think of a hybrid car like a Prius, and you have gasoline and you have the electricity. Electricity is a very efficient, clean burning fuel. That is what ketones are. Gasoline is still a fuel. It's used and needed when we're going to use that Prius and try to drive hard and fast. Your body will use more gasoline, but it has byproduct, it has waste, and your body, that's what carbohydrates are in your system. So we really only need a lot of them when we work really hard, but otherwise we primarily want to use ketones as our primary fuel source. They absorb into the body easy, they get into the mind easy, they get into the cells easy, and they're nice, clean energy. That's what people are noticing and feeling the benefits from.
Love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So the majority of our existence, except for the last 100+ years maybe, we were living in this state. We were at a high-performance state, and then we changed our diet, and things kind of went downhill, and those disease states began. Mm-hmm. So, Dustin, talk about what it takes for someone to get into that ketogenic state, and why it's been a bit challenging for the average person.
Well, for me, I was a former recon Marine, college athlete. I've been in the health and fitness industry, overcame my own illnesses and injuries using this lifestyle. I experienced ketosis from a starvation state. So one of the ways to get there is to join the military and go in a special forces unit. You want to go around that way.
Volunteer.
You volunteer, or go on Survivor, or maybe tie yourself to a tree outside. None of those sound very pleasant, right? The other way that people can do that is through a extremely low carb diet, using an Atkins or a modified Atkins diet, or using a ketogenic diet. Those are ways that people do that. Over the last 100 years or so, medically they've been using a ketogenic, an extremely high-fat diet. Majority, 85 to 95% of your diet is fat, low carb, moderately low protein diet for kids with epilepsy. And it's very effective in treating epileptic. They've also shown research where it can treat a lot of other neurological disorders medically, and there's a lot of research on that. And so that's how people would get into ketos and ketosis. If you're a marathon runner and you ever hit the wall, you basically ran out of glucose, you ran out of gas, and you forced yourself into ketones and ketosis, and your body started using fat for fuel. Not a very pleasant experience, very challenging time, and also can prevent you from finishing the race. So that's how it takes to get into ketosis. I've been teaching this for a long time because people come to me struggling with life, struggling with energy, struggling with to get a better body, and so I know the best way to do that is to bring them into the state of ketosis. So I've taught this for 15 years, helped maybe 1,200 to 1,500 people get into ketosis to enhance their body. But the one challenge that I've had is where's the sustainability? You smell a pizza or lick a banana and you're almost out of ketosis. It's just you don't maintain it because carbohydrates are too plentiful in our world, which brings us to this and why this tool we have is so useful.
Before we jump into Keto OS, I'd love you to. You said something kind of shocking that I think for people that are new to this way of life, 85 to 95% of calories from fat. I mean, aren't we taught that we shouldn't have that much fat?
Yeah, absolutely. We were taught that, and there's actually a really cool documentary video series called The Big Fat Lie, and it's becoming more and more evident in our society that what we're doing and what we've been told isn't working. And I'm going to bring this up because it came up. So for the 28% of you out there that can live in a moderation, and if you're saying to me if people just ate in moderation, they would be fine. That's a small group of people that can live in the modern world in America and live in moderation and not gain weight and not get sick. It's a very small number of people. Laura, yes, you are one of them. And the rest of us on this panel are not one of those. If I ate in moderation, I would be overweight. I would not be very healthy because my system doesn't do as well in that state. So why did I say that is because we've been told for a long time that fat is not good for us, that fat is bad. And some of you right now are thinking high fat and you're getting almost stressed, almost an anxiety around that because you've been so told, and I would use the word almost brainwashed, that fat's bad for you. And it's just not the case. We were misled back in the 50s on some scientific research on the lipid hypothesis. Basically, the tests were flawed, and we just somehow grabbed a hold of it in our society and ran with it so far that we've gotten sideways, where carbohydrates have become the primary fuel in people's diets, and that's not working. That's why diabetes is going rampant in our society right now. It's why illness is going rampant. It's not because of the fat, it was because of the diabetes. And I would encourage anybody that has a question about that or think about that, go out and do your research. Get on my webpage. That if you're watching this, you're on my webpage right now, most likely, and hit the research button and watch The Big Fat Lie, and do more research on what they're finding in medicine around the lipid hypothesis and how they're not quite following the same methods anymore as they used to around the higher fat diet.
So what we're doing is we're asking our audience and anyone who wants to feel better to be open that we might have been misled for many, many years, and to realize that people were very healthy until we started integrating a higher amount of carbs in our diet. So now we have the problem, and now we've got a solution, and it's the easiest solution I've ever come across to help the majority of people feel better. So Dustin, take it away and tell us the good news.
All right. So what happened, you know, like I said, I've been in my career, I've been 15 years, 12, 15 years working this lifestyle, teaching people how to get better in their health. And I met a guy in birthing class of all places. What's interesting about that is, you know, I know a lot about this topic. I know a lot about the body and health just from extensive education. And the gentleman that introduced me to Keto OS, exogenous ketones. Exogenous ketones are ketones that we can drink, and it puts us into ketosis at a therapeutic level. He was an overweight, funny, vibrant man, and at the time he was overweight. He's not overweight anymore, and he brought this to me, and I was very interested. I was very open-minded. Being in the health and fitness industry, I often find people that I like to say when I was younger, I knew just enough to be dangerous. I thought I had it figured out, and the truth is I didn't. The more you learn, the less you really know. And I was open to anything. And so I just listened to him, and I just told him, if you have that, that's going to be special, and I want to be at least informed when it's ready to come out. And in the end of May, we brought Keto OS to market in a little preview to experience this product and create testimonials. And some of you were part of that preview phase. And it is unbelievable. It's a powder. You mix in water. You mix it up, you drink it. It tastes like an orange creamsicle. It's very simple. It's all natural. And when you drink it, within 30 minutes to an hour, you'll have a therapeutic level of ketones in your body that your body can use for clean fuel, which it took before to get to that level 3 strict days of a high-fat, low-carb diet, or up to 3 weeks or more for people that are metabolically struggling or really unhealthy to get to the same level. And that means they could never mix up. They couldn't screw up at all to get to that same level. And very quickly for me, I realized that I now have the ability to make my lifestyle that I've been teaching to so many sustainable, which I think is powerful. They don't have to always be perfect. They don't always have to do everything exactly the way I wanted to do to get the health benefits of ketones. And now they can get the health benefits, and if they implement the lifestyle, they can just enhance those benefits along with what Keto OS can provide. But it's not even necessary to get all the benefits. You can just get tremendous benefits from the product by itself.
Wow. Until recently, only the people that could really feel and experience these tremendous benefits from this superior fuel source were really dedicated people, and mostly they're either elite athletes or people that had serious health conditions. And now we're able to meet people exactly where they are and take them the next step on their health journey. So we've got something pretty darn special.
We do, and I'm going to talk more about that, how to implement it into your life and what we can do about that. But we have 2 special guests on tonight that I want to kind of let them experience and talk about their experience utilizing Keto OS and get an understanding of kind of what has changed in their life with this product and how it's worked. And Lester, you and I have gotten kind of close over the last few months, and I followed your story closely, and we've worked together on how you've been changing. And Lester, can you hear me right now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Absolutely, great. So what I'd like to just kind of get from you here is give me a minute, 2-minute snapshot of what your life was like prior to getting Keto OS. And a couple things is, tell me who invited you and who shared the product with you. Why did you take it? And what was your life before? And then we'll talk about what your life is like now after using this product.
Very interesting. Thanks for having me on the call. Someone from Florida gave me a call and told me about this amazing exogenous ketone supplement. But this is providential, Robin. But that person I did not want to work with. So I went on Facebook and I found the Prove It Facebook site, and I saw a name that I'm familiar with going back 20 years. His name was Gregory Mascari. I worked with him back in the 90s. He was the #1 income earner in another company went bad. So I got in touch with Gregory, and I said, Gregory, would you be my sponsor? And he said, well, you got to talk to my wife because Robin is heading this project. I had never met Robin before because at the time I knew him, his now deceased wife, that's who I knew before. So Robin is now in the picture. And so, that's how I got introduced to the product. I was open-minded.
Why were you so interested? Why were you so interested, Lester? What made this open your interest? What about this ketones that made you interested to even try it?
Because my life had hit the pits. I had gone from the being in a pivotal part of my life to, I'm now 61 years old, I was in the gutter. I had resigned from being a pastor of a church because of tremendous stress and anxiety and health issues. I had been, in essence, I didn't know it at the time, I'd had a stroke in my right eye. It left a dark spot, and because of what caused that, I went through a tremendous battery of tests to test out everything, stress test, angiogram, and treatment, laser treatment on the eye, and they thought maybe if what caused that was going on in my body, I was headed for severe health challenges, heart attack, stroke, or something of that nature. And I was pressed in on all sides, didn't really feel good about my life and where I was, my contribution I was making. I felt like I needed to make a change, and life wasn't going that well. So I walked away from an income source without having anything else to do. So it was very, 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 very tough time in my life. So I was ready for a paradigm shift.
All right. And what was your day-to-day life like? How did your body feel? What did you have any aches and pains? How was your day-to-day life? What was it like getting out of bed for Lester prior to using Keto OS?
Well, let me approach it this way. I have 2 daughters. I have 4 grandchildren. The last of which is my grandson. He's 5 months old now. So those are my whys. That's the reason why I do what I do, is to leave an inheritance for my children and my grandchildren. So when I woke up in the morning, I was in so much pain, my lower back pain, I would have to do exercises while still lying in the bed to loosen up enough to roll over and get out of bed. I did exercises in the bed. Talked to me by a beautiful lady, a physical therapist, and so that's how my day started out. My ends of my fingers and toes were going numb. I was in bad shape. I was drinking a lot of coffee, trying to get energy. I lost my enthusiasm, and the etymology of that word, en, means in, and enthusiasm comes from the word theo, mean God in me. And as an evangelist, I had lost that. I didn't feel the power. I didn't feel excited. I didn't feel like I was living with passion and with purpose. And so, I was hurting. I had to, because I used to be an athlete, I had that mental capacity to exercise. But every time I would try, I end up taking muscle relaxers and all kind of things to try to get out of pain. I was in bad shape. And because I knew how to get into the zone mentally, so I was there mentally, but I couldn't do physically what I needed to do to exercise. And at that time, that's what I was told to do. You had to eat 6 times a day. And I was on protein. I was trying a lot of different things. I was drinking protein shakes, eating 6 times a day, exercising 5 or 7 times. And I had to stop the exercising because I just couldn't keep up with it. It worked, but I just couldn't sustain it. So I was in a low time in my life, and wasn't very able to perform very well at anything that I was doing because I was ill. I wasn't feeling good. And if you don't feel good, you can't do good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, Lester. And I know we've talked deeply about that, and I know you had some obstacles that you had to overcome working with your doctors, and so I'm glad you shared that, because you really painted a picture for a lot of people in our country. A lot of people right now that are struggling with day-to-day life. Just if it's and it's just like the stress just keeps piling up and piling up and piling up, and can we just shake some of that? And New Year's resolutions are around the corner right now, or they're on right now, and I know people have told themselves, they look in the mirror and they're this year's gonna be different. This year's gonna be better, and And I think there's two main things that have happened with your story that you're about to share about what's happening after you took Keto OS. And I think there's two main things that plays a big role in that. And I think part of that role is, number one, is we have an unbelievable product that's backed scientifically, that has helped so many people already, called Keto OS. It's exogenous ketones. And the second thing is, I think we have one of the best communities, probably the best community I've ever been a part of. And keep in mind, I was in the Marine Corps. I was in the Special Forces unit in the Marine Corps. And you talk about community, it doesn't get much tighter than that. But something's different about this, because it's about enhancing people's lives. And when it starts getting emotional, when you see people truly inspiring changes in their life, that community's strong. And Lester, tell me what's happened since you've been using Keto OS and how your life is now, or how it's changed.
Well, I've gone from a dead man walking to a man that's living his dreams. I'm excited about life. I have mental clarity. I have no pain. I have the ability not only to walk, but now I can jog, I can run. I rode my 10-speed bicycle for 2.5 hours the 5th day that I was on Keto OS. I remember it just like I'm talking to you right now. I can see it. It was August the 29th. I started taking it August the 24th. And I wasn't riding a 10-speed bicycle. I got on a 10-speed bicycle and rode. I was taking samples of different people, and I was saying, I'm gonna do this on my bicycle. They say this stuff's going to give you energy. I rode the bike, Dustin, for 2.5 hours, going back and forth to people's houses, to the post office, to mail some Keto OS single servings, and I wasn't even tired. And I said, but prior to the product coming, Robin did something very smart. She asked me, Lester, other than the income, what is a picture of your optimum health? And I sent her this email and told her what I wanted to be. I was 293 pounds. Now I'm 30 pounds lighter. I'm 6 inches off my waist. I'm able to get up and meditate. I get up early in the morning. I study and I pray and I write sermons and I write devotions. And I was able to go into a deeper meditation. I was able to get more out of my morning. I was able to begin the day strong and end the day strong. I just had that exuberance. So I'm looking forward to 2016 being a quantum leap year for me, because I got my zest back. I got my zeal back. I got my swag on. And it's all because of this new lifestyle. And thanks to Robert and Dustin, you've been instrumental in coaching me. My life is tremendously been transformed. And I'm looking forward to sharing this message with thousands and thousands of people, and reaching out across the ocean and all across. In my community, a lot of people are struggling with the same things. Unfortunately, they seem like they have no hope, because the solutions that are being offered to them is full of all kind of other side effects and all other kind of problems. And we have something that's amazing. The research that I've done, I'm a researcher. So the reason I got excited, Dustin, I knew that I was going to get better, because I read everything on shapermethod.com. I looked at the learn button on my website. I went and looked at the research, all the scientific research on all the different things, the Parkinson's disease and the Alzheimer's, some of the things that you showed on the video. I got excited because I have a history of all of those things in my family. I was raised on a farm. My aunt and my uncle had a farm next to me. They both died of Alzheimer's. I have another aunt that died of Alzheimer's. I have a brother I hope I can say that. I have a brother right now, 77 years old, with Parkinson's disease here in Chicago. So all those things that you showed on the video, there are situations out there that we can impact in a positive way, and I'm excited about doing that. And I'm so glad, Robin, that you shared this with me, and Dustin, you coached me and still coaching me, and learn a lot from you. So thanks for allowing me to speak. And I can go on and on and on, but I know I need to let somebody else talk.
All right, Lester, I appreciate that. I'd let you go on and on and on because I think you can see it's from the heart, and you're one of many stories that we have across the country.
If I can say one other thing, Dustin, one other thing.
Yes, yes,
Let
sir.
me get back to that 5-month-old grandson.
All right.
My first daughter is named Zundra. My second daughter, who was born 10 years later, is named Leslie. My name is Lester. What do you think I wanted the second child to be?
Lester, a boy. A boy.
Okay. So now I have a grandson that's 5 years old. We spent Thanksgiving with him in St. Louis. Okay, I'm not gonna cry. And my 3-year-old granddaughter, I was able to play with her and run with her. I wasn't able to do that before this conversation. I was in severe pain. If I stood up at the sink to wash dishes, my back was hurting so bad I was almost in tears. And now I'm looking forward to running and playing and throwing the football. And I used to could dunk, and I believe I can dunk again. Like basketball. And so I'm excited about playing with my grandson, visiting with him, traveling with him, and doing all the things. He's 5 months old, 22 pounds. He's going to be an athlete of some sort.
All right. Well, Lester, I truly appreciate that because, like I said, it's, when it comes from the heart like that, and you can see that's in there, and with your family history, it's important that you become aware, because if there's something that contributes to it or can help prolong it, we might as well take action now. Because if you know anybody that's struggling with things as they get older, none of us want to be there. I've watched a lot of people in my life struggle later in their life, and it's like they're just alive, they're not living. And I'd rather them live. And if there's a tool or a lifestyle that they can adapt towards and benefit from with their doctors or whatever it might be, or just in your day-to-day life to feel more clarity and energy, why not understand that and at least share with them. And so thank you so much for that, Lester. And we're going to transition over here to Laura. Laura's going to come from a different angle. And Laura is I would like to say a super athlete. She is she's a mountaineer. She loves the mountains. She's in Colorado, and she's had a great experience also with utilizing Keto OS. And Laura, just give a little bit of the story before, because I like your story of where you came from nutritionally prior to adapting to this lifestyle, and then what happened when you started implementing Keto OS.
Yeah. Hi. Thanks for having me on as well. Thanks for your great story, Lester. That was fun to hear. So yeah, I come from a completely different background, as like Dustin said. I started actually doing nutritional ketosis a year ago. Almost exactly a year ago from today, actually. And I was diagnosed with leaky gut and candida. And I have a history of Alzheimer's and dementia in my family as well. My dad has celiac, which means that you can't have any grains or gluten. And I am a mini of my father. So I got tested to see what I had, because if he had that and I had all this history in my family, I must have something as well. And sure enough, I did. I had leaky gut, which leaky gut, when it's not addressed, sorry, I have little ears. These don't stand very well. When leaky gut isn't addressed, it turns into celiac and dementia and Alzheimer's and all that fun stuff. So I decided right then and there that I was not going to have that future. That was not going to be my future, and I was going to change it. And so I went and saw a woman who does biomeridian testing. She tested me on all my supplements, all my foods, everything I put in my body. And what came up was the ketogenic diet. So I couldn't have any grains, no sugar, not even honey, not even maple syrup, no sugar, nothing. The only sugar that tested okay for me was stevia. Other than that, nothing. No fruit, no caffeine, no alcohol, no dairy. So I was like, okay, well, what can I eat? Is kind of what it came down to. And she said fat. Your body needs fat. It needs. So I was tested great on nuts, on eggs, on avocados, on anything coconut. Came out fantastic for me, and meat. That's pretty much it. and seeds, like chia seeds and hemp seeds and things like that. So so that's what I did, and I'm a student, so I listened to everything she said, and I took action, and I said I'm going to do this. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how long, what it takes to do it. I know this is going to be hard, but I'm going to reverse this. And 9 months later, and a little cranky, I accomplished it. I reversed all my illnesses. I also had an autoimmune that I no longer have symptoms for. So that was really exciting for me. I already felt pretty good. Even with leaky gut, I still had an abundance of energy. I think because I eat really good, I exercise, I take care of myself. But this ketogenic diet just took it to the next level for me. So then that I found out that I had reversed it all in September, and literally a week later I was introduced to Keto OS.
I'm going to pause you for a second.
Yeah.
You for a second. So before you talk about Keto OS, you did this naturally. Like, you did it what I would do and what I had to do, and not easy. I mean, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Why would you even consider a product? Like, why would that? I want to kind of know why, and then who also introduced you to the product?
So I was introduced to the product by a friend of mine, Sat Sunder, who is a friend of Robin's, and Sat Sunder knew my diet, and we ate a lot the same way. We always talked about food. So when this came into his world, he called me right away. And I was very intrigued because, hey, I mean, if I could do the same thing and make it easier and not have to be as strict, like maybe be able to have butternut squash and carrots and, a couple things that are a little more starchy and have a little more carbohydrates in them, and maybe have a little bit of chocolate or something, I was in. I was like, anything to make this easier, because it was really hard, and it restricted me in a lot of areas, and people were always asking me, why don't you eat anything? Why don't you ever eat anything? And I literally couldn't. So it made it easier. So why not? I mean, if I could make my life easier, I was in, really.
Well, thank you for that, because that's kind of how I felt. It's like, why do I have to fight it so hard, and why can't I just make it easier? And I think that's across the board. Lester, it was easier for Lester, but who wasn't following the diet and lifestyle, that now naturally can easily follow more of a healthier lifestyle. And then somebody like Laura, who is naturally could just do it, but can now enjoy it easier and just didn't have to work so hard at it. What have you noticed differently since you've been taking Keto OS?
Well, the ketogenic diet itself made me feel pretty fantastic, I have to admit. So when people were like, are you going to stick with it? I was like, yes, I am, because I felt so good. But I honestly, to tell you the honest truth, I really did not expect to feel anything with the Keto OS. I just wanted it to make it easier for me to maintain my health. And because I was so healthy, I was like, yeah, I usually don't feel health products. I just take them because I know they're good for me. And so when I jumped on board with the Keto OS, the first day, I was like, oh my gosh, like my energy was, I already have a pretty good amount of energy, but this was just a whole different kind of energy. Like, I was so focused, and I just felt like I got so much stuff done every day, and I just felt so focused and clear. And then with my sports, it just took my sports to a whole new level. So basically, I was taking 5 to 10 minutes off regular runs, and even one time I was mountain biking, and I did it 30 minutes faster, this regular mountain bike ride, and I was blown away. I literally thought my watch stopped. Like, I wasn't thinking that really was the time, because I had no extra exertion. I wasn't tired. I wasn't, usually when you really push hard and go faster at something, you feel it, and I wasn't feeling it. And then my body was recovering a lot faster as well. I have really tight hamstrings. They usually hurt after runs. They weren't hurting anymore. And I really just felt fantastic, is really what it came down to, with my sports and my energy, and just everything, sleeping, everything.
Yeah, what I found too is that it's, nutritionally we can get pretty deep into ketosis, but without doing what our ancestors did, where we get this strong fasting state, we don't get always as deep as we'd like to get that extra feeling. Like people are like, well, why didn't she feel that in the diet? And because we don't get quite as deep, but the product pushed you a little further in and enhanced that effect. And that's kind of what I've noticed too, is a little bit more is a little bit better. And it's been very beneficial. So thank you both for getting on. And I'm going to ask one of you, do me a favor. If you have a canister there, can you just read off the benefits of ketones on the back of that can?
Sure, I'll read it off. Oh, you want to read it, Lester? Or you want me to read it?
Ladies first.
Yeah. So not what is ketosis. Which part on the...
Just a list of benefits. It'll just be a straight list. What year is your can?
Benefits, I see. Fat loss, fast and sustained energy, reduces brain fog, increased awareness, increased focus, appetite suppression, assists in abdominal fat loss, strength gain, better mood. I'd have to attest to that one too. Decrease in inflammation, better sleep, better digestion and gut health, and clear skin, which again, that's another one I have to attest to. The clear skin, wow, it really does make a difference.
For sure, and those experiences that everybody might experience different, one or more than the other. Sometimes you don't even realize you've got the benefit until later. And so I love that list because it's a list that we got from the sampling. We took 3 months and just really had people experience it, and this was the feedback we got, because we thought we had really one of the best fat loss products on the market, and it turned out we just have one of the best health products on the market. And fat loss just happens to be like one of the benefits of this, because it helps with the appetite suppressant, it helps with the carb cravings. And my head it feels so much clearer. My mood has changed dramatically, and the inflammation from all my injuries in the past have improved dramatically too. So I want to thank both of you coming on. I truly appreciate it. You can hang out if you'd like. You can pop off if you'd like. And Robin, we'll wrap this up with maybe just what to do next, like how to take the product, and what are the resources they have to get the best out of this product. Robin there? I don't know if she froze on me. Well, it looks like Robin froze, so I'm going to transition into that. Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate that. All right, good.
Good job, Dustin.
So what ketones or the ketosis is like, I'm going to challenge every one of you. If you're looking at this going, this is too good to be true, or this doesn't make any sense, I'm going to encourage you to go do your research. Google anything in ketones, anything. Parkinson's in ketones, Alzheimer's in ketones, autistic, seizures, weight loss, diabetes, brain health, mental clarity, and you're going to see some really cool research out there. Challenge that. I'm going to show you my website in just a moment about how to take the product and kind of walk you through some of these the tools of what to use and how to do this. But these are stories we're hearing across. I mean, Laura and Lester's stories, you pretty much hit almost every one of the things on that canister between the two you've had experienced. And that's what's so special about this, is that so many people out there need a little help, need a little guidance, and this can do that for them. If not, there's somebody that that needs this and can benefit this. And I encourage you to get involved. I encourage you to stay part of the community, stay plugged in, find these webinars, go on and Google, and you'll find a lot of calls that we do. Get on a call that I'm doing and just listen. And I promise you, the more you're part of the community using this product, the more successful you'll be. And with that said and done, one of my favorite resources that I have is, well, it's the one I put together, so maybe that's why it's my favorite. But I want to share that with all of you because it's a tool that you can utilize to coach you in using this product, but also for you to share with somebody that you may share the product with, because I don't want people to be blinded. I want people to find the best tools that you can use. And let me quick go there. I'm going to share my screen with you. Make sure this works. There it is. Look at that. It worked. Okay, so I'm going to pause that. There'll be a little video of me popping up, but this is a site that I use. It's Keto OS Dual Fuel Diet. It's my Keto OS diet and lifestyle page. And this is the page I use to coach a lot of people. And keep in mind, it's always getting updated. I'm always going to try to improve it based on the information that I get from you all, that you give back to me, and I try to make it so it makes the most sense. So what you're going to find on this page, if you look at the top left side here where it says Keto Lifestyle, and it says step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. I encourage every one of you to really go to and start with step 1, listen to step 2, and listen to step 3. Step 1 is going to talk about different ways to take the product. You can take it in the morning. If your goal is fat loss, I like people to take it when they first wake up in the morning on an empty stomach. Always start with a half a serving and drink it over about 20 to 30 minutes. After 2 or 3 or 4 days, work up to a full serving, and then just wait till you're hungry to eat next. And that's a really good method. But on my site, I have a lot of different ways to use this product. And so I encourage you to get on there and become a student. But also, if you look at the step 2, it says listen to mastering weight loss. And I actually should change that to fat loss. I apologize, and I will change that. And that's a really cool tool, because if you're just maybe not seeing something right in words, maybe hearing it, if you're not reading it right, maybe hearing it will help you get the message clearer and help you tweak things so you can get the weight loss part of it. Because so many people are doing this for fat loss, and that's such a low benefit of this product. If you listen to the call today and this webinar, very little was talked about the weight loss part of it or the fat loss part of it. Most of it was talking about the enhancement of life, the better quality of life. And so, but if weight loss or fat loss is your goal, then go get it, and then just appreciate all the other benefits and share all the other benefits to everybody else, because some people may not care about the fat loss. My mom sure doesn't, but she sure enjoys being and spending time with my grandson, or my son, her grandson, and crawling on the floor chasing around that she couldn't do last year. Look at and watch and listen to the electrolytes and sea salts. Ketones are a natural diuretic. It's very important that if you have a hydration issue, you may need to increase your electrolytes and sea salt. So I just want to bring that up to everybody, because when in doubt, ever increase your electrolytes and sea salt, and often you will feel quite a bit better. And then step 4 is the cookbook that I recommend, and some recipe ideas. But this site is full of information. I do encourage you to play with it. I will continuously update it and help you out in sharing this or utilizing this product and getting the most out of it. All you do is click on the link, and it opens up, and it explains how to take Keto OS, as you'll see here in just 1 second. I'm not going to spend much more time on this. Let's see if it opens. Of course, it did not. So I apologize. But it will open on your screen. It's not opening on mine. All right, I'm back. So I want to thank everybody for being on here. I want to thank Lester and Laura and Robin, who her connection apparently wasn't so good. But please get back to whoever showed you this video, whoever invited you to this hangout. Ask them for more information, and if you have to challenge it. Go get educated, learn more, and I just appreciate you for taking the time to watching this. And Laura, Lester, any last 30-second comments that you have to say to your guests or all the guests that are on this call?
Go Keto.
I would just say that everybody has their why. In my case,